Hello and welcome to episode 18 of NCR DC Comics. I'm your host, Benjamin Dupé. Joining me on the panel tonight is the Shaggy Man of NCR, Mr. Joshua Aldini.
What's up, Planet Earth?
Our own in-house dinosaur, Mr. Travis Saurus Roseberry.
Hey, hey!
And the Iron Patriot, or our big soft teddy bear, or whatever you want to call him, Mr. Bradley Butin.
Hi, guys.
And we are your cybernetically inclined comic book overlords. It's been a great week for DC Comics. Cyborg is learning the hard truths about cybersexually transmitted diseases in Cyborg number 7. I, Frankenstein, is reuniting with his corpse bride in Superman number 13. And Batman is done playing games with Naked Bane in the conclusion to I Am Suicide. Check out all these awesome stories and more this week on NCR DC Comics.
Whoop, whoop.
In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs, week by week, book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
All right, so first off, I do want to mention the fact that our Indie Tuesdays show is packing up its bags and moving over to the Indie Comic Ninja show. It's no longer going to be on this channel. This channel is DC Comics on NCR. Indie Tuesdays will be on the Indie Ninja show. So if you want to continue listening to Indie Tuesdays, which, why wouldn't you? Head over to whatever your podcast player of choice is and check out Indie Comic Ninja. And that's kind of going to be the shape of things to come. There are people that listen to the Indie Comic or Indie Tuesdays show only. There's people that listen to the DC show only. We don't really want to crowd people's feeds, so we're just kind of splitting it up on two channels there. So secondly, I do want to let you all know that we have a Patreon page where you can donate to the cause. In return for your donation, you have access to an exclusive weekly show called Sunday School, where we go in depth with one of the characters from the comic books this week. This week we are going to be talking about Amanda Waller with the Justice League Suicide Squad event that's been happening.
The Wall.
Yeah, the Wall. And when you think about it, for all the content that we put out there, you can donate like $1 a month. That's like less than the cost of a comic book. And I mean, we're happy to do it for free, of course, but it's a pretty good deal, I think, especially with the new weekly show we're going to be doing out there. So if you want to check that out, that's at patreon.com/nerdchurchradio. Thirdly, if you want to reach us, you can do so at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com or by going to our website and checking out all of our written reviews at www.nerdchurchradio.com. And lastly, we want iTunes reviews. So we're having a contest for the month of January. So if you give one of our shows an iTunes review in January, so if you've already given this channel a review, you can go over to Indie Comic Ninja and give them a review. You're entered into a contest to win a wonderful goodie package that we put together for you. We're actually still putting together for you. I'm not sure exactly what all is going to be in it. First off, we have a signed print by one of our hosts, Andrew Southern. He did like a Supergirl illustration, and he's going to print that out on a nice big page for you and sign it. We have a Wonder Woman gauntlet that, I wonder who donated that. Yeah, so Noah donated a Wonder Woman gauntlet cup for you to drink Wonder Juice from, or whatever you want to drink from.
Juice.
Yeah.
I wonder what that juice is.
Yeah. I wonder what's in there.
Wait, I'm a little dizzy.
But it's alcohol. So, and then we have an exclusive Joker Batman pop figure that we got from a Loot Crate a while back. And then there's a few other things that we're kind of talking about putting in there, but we are going to make it worth your while.
Hey, but you just said I couldn't throw in that old pair of Superman undies that I wanted to throw in.
No used underwear. And speaking of caveats, if you give us a 1-star review, you are not entered into a chance to win anything. I'm just putting that out there. It has to be a slightly good review. I'm not giving you something if you give us bad criticism. Sorry, just not how it works.
But we do appreciate you coming on and reviewing and saying hi.
Well,
thanks for your
actually,
feedback.
you know what? Maybe that's where the dirty underwear should go.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, if you give us a 1-star review, we'll definitely send you something. I can't guarantee that you'll
underwear.
like it.
You
so.
may not like it.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's get down to business. Talk about this week's books.
Good week.
Good week. Yeah, not a great week, but a good week.
Hey, and I'm the only one that's going to say this. I actually liked the Justice League this week.
Really?
Can you believe that? It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
We'll
Wait
talk
till
more
my
about
review,
that.
man.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna flip the switch on that one because I wasn't a huge fan of it. But we'll get down to business here. Get to Superman number 13. Story by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. Art by Doug Mankey, Jaime Mendoza, Keith Champagne or Champagne, and Norm Rapmund. This is like Fragile. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So we start out with I, Frankenstein, Soups, Lois, and the purple non-people eater Krug, hanging out in a field. So it turns out I, Frankenstein isn't such a bad dude. Actually, he's just a bounty hunter with a soft spot for other bounty hunters. Anyway, good old Frankie boy calls down a trans cell to pick up Krug. And it looks like this issue is going to be over before it begins. But not if Bride of Frankenstein has anything to say about it. Just then, this Lady Frankenstein shows up and blows the transpod to smithereens. Frank and Lady Franks get to arguing about, couples disputes or spats or whatever.
You left the dish in the sink and you didn't clean it up.
Yeah, and who's going to take credit for capturing Krug? And, while they're arguing, Krug pulls that classic getaway plan of blowing itself up and then reattaching itself in another location. We've all seen that one in the comics and the cartoons before. Classic mistake. Yeah. So we get this really funny sequence, though, of Frank, Lady Frank, Soups, and Lois all running around trying to pick up pieces of Krug before it gets away. But despite all their efforts, Krug gets away, and the other four have to team up and figure out how to recapture it. I don't know if this is a guy or Krug's a guy or a girl, so I just keep calling it it. Yeah, so naturally it's a great time for the girls and boys to split up into their respective genders and go and figure things out. So Lois and Lady Frankenstein team up, and Soups and I Frankenstein team up. They're gonna split up because that's a good idea.
Whoa, she's got 4 arms.
She does.
That's
she
awesome.
does, and it's pretty cool.
Okay, I just didn't say that.
No, it's great. I actually really like that about this character. It was kind of fun. So this is kind of them splitting up is more of like an excuse for us to get a little bit of Lady Frank's backstory with Frank. She starts telling Lois about how her and Frank had a kid together and it turned into a terrible monster and Lady Frank had to kill it. While this touching and totally heartwarming story is happening, yeah. Aww. Yeah, Superman's using his X-ray. Yeah, no. Yeah. Superman's using his X-ray vision to locate Krug, who has reattached itself at the bottom of the ocean.
So that was a cool panel.
That was a cool panel. So. Yeah. The art in this issue was strong, I feel like.
Yeah,
so,
it's super good.
The team comes together at the end and captures Krug. It was super.
Yeah, super.
You started it.
So Frank tries to get Lady Frank to get back together with him, but she gives him the cold, dead shoulder and walks off. Frank leaves, and we get a final scene of Lois and Clark tucking John in before it's time for bed, and it's end of issue, to be continued next week. So this issue was good. I don't know. It was good, not great. I feel like it was kind of fun. What did you guys think of this issue?
I liked it.
I mean, I'm just leafing through it right now, but I agree with the art. And
The art looks awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
And Frank and Bride of Frank are pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. The art was good. I feel like it maybe went off into different directions there a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. No. Joke.
Yeah.
Went
Yeah,
off into
got it. Yeah.
but it really came
But it came
together in the
together
end.
You are no pun
Is
master.
that on? Yeah. All right, but seriously, it was a good issue. I feel like we've gotten 2 to 3 issue story arcs with Superman, and I'm ready for like a 12 issue like Wonder Woman and the Lies, something like that. It was kind of cute to get that 1 issue story arc where it was like they went to the fair in Hamilton County and that was fun. and now we have this 2-issue thing that kind of piddled out, and it's again cute and fun, but I want like an all-star Superman type title or something. It was fun to learn about Frank, but I don't really feel like we explored him all that much in this issue. I kind of hope we get him in another issue. He's kind of like the character I feel like that would be really cool for a Halloween issue.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Maybe not a Christmas issue. Whatever. The artwork was the best part. I'm a sucker for monster artwork. I love monsters. It's one of my favorite parts about comics. Panel layout's awesome, and anatomy and characterizations are well done. I mean, I don't know. So artwork on this, what do you guys think?
A+. Holy.
The cover's kind of a let
Yeah,
down.
the cover, yeah, definitely.
Because like last week, the cover was notable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank just looked awesome last week.
Yeah, it was great cover. So this
Yeah.
week it was kind of rough. So, but otherwise, the inside was really good. I feel like there was a lot of words in this one. There's a lot of words this week, and like,
Yeah.
you know, that was the one thing that I didn't like about Nightwing either was like it was very
Text heavy.
narrative heavy.
Well, there's a huge underlying story with the Nightwing too.
Yeah.
Well, and it is also good. We'll talk more about Nightwing,
Yeah.
but like it is also good to get that characterization of him and
Yeah.
learn more about who he is as a person for people that don't know.
Right.
I know a little bit about him, but it's nice to learn about him. So before I rate this book, we do have a rating system where we rate and review the comic books that we read. I'm going to play the thing so you know what we're talking about.
Man, Gideon's gonna get mad at you.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right. So overall, what would you guys rate this book? Just there's some of us like Brad and Josh who haven't. Have you read this one, Josh?
I read last week's. I didn't get this one until
Okay.
we went through it together. So
Brad and Josh haven't read it, but they've leafed through it, and Travis
Right.
read it. So you two, Josh and Brad, not having read it, what would you rate it?
I would go. I'd go holy. It's a cool story. They have some cool interaction between Frank, Bride of Frank. It's a pretty good setup. However, I think you're right. I think it's definitely time for a good Superman story. Straight up Superman. Something's gonna go on. Superman has to deal with it. You know,
Favorite Superman story, hands down. What's yours?
Death of Superman, the death and return of Superman.
Death, I like. Return, I wasn't as big of a fan of. Josh, do you have a favorite Superman
I
story?
haven't read a lot of Superman.
Yeah, I know
Remember,
you read
came
part
into
of
this kind of
All-Star.
as like a Superman. Ooh, what's the big deal? But like he's grown on me a lot
Yeah.
since.
Well,
I
especially
started with
this
the
version
show,
of
so-
Superman. I like this version of Superman way better than the 52.
Yeah,
Right, totally.
I think that's universal across the board.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Travis,
Oh,
favorites?
man.
Yeah, I know you got
so
a lot.
many.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe.
Or one of your favorite Superman
I'd,
stories.
I'd say War of the Worlds. Or
War of the-
War of the Worlds.
Okay.
I've
that's
never
a good
read that
arc.
one.
Yeah,
it's
me
not bad.
neither.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Awesome. I'll have to check that
There's a
one
lot
out.
of duplicitous things that happen, and Soup's caught in the middle.
Is that New
awesome.
52 or pre-New 52?
Pre 52?
Really?
Pre.
Like
yeah.
how pre-New
That's
52?
90s, wasn't it?
No, it's 2000, but it's early
Oh,
2000s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You probably
I
won't
remember
like
it.
the art in it, though.
Well,
it's very
yeah.
cartoony, which I kind of like, but it's like Superman is over muscly kind of
Yeah.
thing, which I know you're not a huge fan of, but
I
it
can get
works.
into that if
Yeah.
it works. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's done well, I can. But if it's, I mean, like I love the art from Batman the Animated Series. Like that, they worked in its own way.
Yeah.
Is it what I would choose for a comic book in my own taste? Yeah, maybe not. But if it works well, then I'm good with it. So I'll have to. It's Superman: War of the Worlds.
I believe it is. I'll send you the link to it.
Okay,
I've got it,
cool,
Yeah.
awesome. So, Josh, having just leafed through it a little bit and reading the last few issues, what would you rate this one?
I'd put it at holy too.
Holy?
Like the artwork in this one was really good, and the artwork in the last issue I really liked too. So like I liked the Frankenstein character coming into play. I thought it was pretty cool.
Very cool. Okay.
Pretty cool little touch.
I'm gonna break that trend. I'm gonna say it's blessing, And the only reason why is it wasn't a fantastic story. And I agree with you guys saying the art was fantastic, but the story was just, what was it, 2 issues or 3 issues?
It was 2.
2. Okay. So it was a 2 issue. We have another guy in there, I Frankenstein. It's okay, but it wasn't a sustenance thing. It wasn't there for me. So I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's just a blessing. It was like that. I think I always call it this, but the palate cleanser.
I agree. Yeah.
It was good. It gets us through it, and now we're on to a new arc.
I say the same thing. I think it was a blessing. It was good. It was not great. The next issue is titled Multiplicity. Yeah. So I don't know if we're kind of staying on this train or going somewhere else with it. But one way or the other, I do want Tomasi to find a cohesive direction to take this story in and just go with it, And like I'm tired of the sidetracks. Like, I want to see a really cool Superman story. We're kind of getting that in Action Comics, but there's not. Talk about a palate cleanser. There's not a lot of substance with those stories.
Right.
It very much owns its name of being an action type story. It's very action packed. With this, like, I want like an all-star Superman type of story where it's like, and I know Tomasi has it in him. I mean, he's a very good writer, but I feel like he's just not totally hidden mark right now. So, but overall, I have not a lot of complaints about it. Yeah. Just from Tomasi, I would expect maybe a little better. But okay,
he's not mad. He's just disappointed. No,
exactly. Yes, I feel like that's not the first time we've said this.
You know what? I think that these 2 issues did a lot for Lois Lane.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, I really love the spunky Lois Lane that goes in, she's kicking ass and taking names and just I love that. That's one of the things I don't like about the Amy Adams one that's portrayed in films is she's kind of mousy and quiet and like, I mean, sometimes she busts out of her shell and she's like, go get 'em reporter, but man, like there's other times where like Lois Lane, she's like showing suit. She pulls like what my wife pulls on me when I piss her off. She's like kicking ass and like my wife has her headphones on. She doesn't know I'm talking about her, but So all right, we are gonna move things right along.
Careful,
here.
She'll pull out that cattle prod and get you.
Yeah, she has no idea what we're saying. So all right, we are gonna move things right along here. Brad, what do you got for us?
Suicide Squad, Most Wanted. Death in the Desert, written by Jai Nitz, art by Cliff Richards.
I actually flipped through this one right before we recorded, and it looks pretty damn cool. The artwork's really interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's 2 books. There's a El Diablo book, which I'm going to talk to mostly. Then there's a Amanda Waller book, but I thought that was absolutely horrible, and I wouldn't suggest it to anybody. So I'm just going to leave it to the one that I liked, and we're just going to move on.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So we start this issue with El Diablo as Yukar talking to Exlotl, the god of death and dogs.
The god of death and dogs.
The god of death and dogs. This dude looks sort of like a sphinx. They confirm to each other that a group of people are coming after them, and they need to get ready for a fight. So this guy's name is Xolotl. I can't really spell that, so we're just going to Xlotl. We're just going to call him X. I'm just going to call him X.
Is he a professor?
We're going.
Wrong.
Nope.
Start.
But he is a white Martian. But we'll get into that in a
Full
minute.
throttle with the Xlotl.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, do what I do.
Alrighty. So X goes into an astral form to help with the fight. The fight seems to be with a group of super bad guys, sort of like the Mexican Suicide Squad, I'm guessing.
Okay.
They have villains like the Ziz, a Thangarian.
I wonder if he's related to Zaz.
No, she's Thangarian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then they have Bloodletter, Leviathan, Zumax, and Benemoth. From here, the battle takes place. Just when it seems that they have lost, they turn the tide, literally, because there's a big frickin' tide in the panel. During the fight, we find out that X is actually a white Martian. Just when they start to get the upper hand, the Mexican Justice League shows up, called Justia. Thank you.
They
call that do the pose.
Yeah. They call that L Justice League.
And Justia. The sound. Music. Thank you. It's Iman, El Moriato, Akrata, and El Dorado. Ooh, da.
Is he Cool Ranch El Dorado? Oh man, I'm full of it tonight.
Oh yeah, full of shit. That's what I'm They have come for X. Then there's a fight between the three factions over who's taking X. The Suicide Squad's like, hey, we got bombs in our necks, we're taking them. And the Mexican Suicide Squad's like, we just want to fight. And then you have the Justia. And they're like, we're the good guys. You guys just need to work with us.
They sound like a bunch of drug addicts.
And they're all on X?
They're fighting.
Well, they're all looking for X.
They're fighting over who's going to take X. Like, there's enough X for everyone, guys. Come on, let's chill out.
Don't do drugs, stay in school.
So at this point, they all kind of calm down, and the suicide and Justia tells the Suicide Squad that they could deactivate the bombs in their neck, and they can bring them on to work for them, and then they can pretty much be free in Mexico.
See, I can deactivate it for you.
God, we are going to offend so many.
Sorry.
After this, pretty much, El Diablo decides he doesn't want any part of this, and he just walks off. Soon after that, Deadshot shows up, and he kills him. Dun dun!
He kills who?
El Diablo.
Oh, okay.
And the next issue is titled Dead Again.
Dead again.
Then we go on to this Amanda Waller. I didn't like it at all. I
don't like anything with Amanda Waller.
Man.
Oh, man. We're doing a Sunday school on Amanda Waller tonight.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be a short one.
Not a fan of that character.
Man, I couldn't. I read it twice, and it did nothing for me. I just didn't like it. So
yeah, well, she dies at the end, too, right?
Well,
looks like
she's never going to die. So
she died in Arrow on the CW.
Right.
Got shot in the head.
That's true, but that's true.
Yeah.
So the good, this isn't a bad read, and it's actually a pretty fun book. I like seeing the Mexican heroes that I know nothing about, and I like the surprise ending with El Diablo getting killed by Deadshot.
Okay.
The bad, I would have liked a little character building on the other characters, because I do not know who Justia is, so I don't know.
This is a number 5 too, so
right,
and this is not in DC Rebirth. So a little backstory.
Oh,
I sent Brad the books that he was going to review this week, and I sent him Justice League Suicide Squad. He was supposed to review Justice League versus Suicide Squad, but he took it as I'm going to review Justice League and Suicide Squad. I didn't even realize there was a standalone Suicide Squad book this week, so yeah, this was all news to me. But I'm actually kind of happy we did, because it's a pretty cool looking book.
Yeah, it's a cool book, and I'm glad you said that it wasn't part of Rebirth, because I was really confused.
No, it's not, yeah.
All right, cool.
I think it was going on before Rebirth happened, maybe, too.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
But
weird.
Other than that, the ugly, the bonus book on Amanda Waller, Down the Rabbit's Hole. That's exactly where the book needed to go, in my opinion. And rating, a solid blessing. I mean, it was nothing super special. It was kind of cool to see like the Justia show up, and that was. I mean, I'd like to actually learn a little bit more, because they had like an Iron Man looking character, and they, like the El Dorado. They never said what their powers were, so you just kind of left wondering. And there wasn't really that much of a huge fight, so you couldn't really kind of even give any educated guesses.
Gotcha.
Right.
But yeah, so
Okay, cool.
Any other thoughts, guys?
No,
Nope.
I can't really talk intelligently about it. Not that I talk intelligently about it much at all.
Like, what?
But you know, but I do really enjoy the artwork. It's actually a totally badass artwork in this book. I think, who did the art on this? Jai Nitz, or no?
Yeah.
That's the writer.
What?
Cliff Richards did
Yeah.
the art on this. So yeah, it's very impressive artwork though. Some of this tidal wave stuff, and it's just really good.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Like, I'm glad you said that this wasn't part of Rebirth, because like, okay, Deadshot shoots El Diablo, but then they're on the same team in Justice League versus Suicide Squad. So I was all sorts of confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell here? You are dead.
All the Rebirth titles have that Rebirth flag
Yeah.
on the top of the cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, just check for that if you get confused.
Nah,
So,
I'm not gonna do. I'm not.
yeah,
I
not
doubt
even
it. It's just gonna
worry
be
about it.
like,
We're just gonna
what?
go with the flow
Yeah.
here. All right. Well, speaking of going with the flow, We're going to move things right along to Mr. Joshua Aldini. What do you got for us, Josh?
I got Green Lanterns number 13.
Nice.
Yeah.
Phantom Lantern Part 3. Story by Sam Humphries. Art by Ronan Cliquette and Blonde.
Yep, blonde. Color, the it's like a company or whatever. Full of colors.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
So the story opens with a 10 billion year flashback to Volthoom, the first Lantern, as he stands over many dead Guardians on the planet of Maltus.
Yep.
We see Rami and the first sighting of the Green Lantern rings. These were created to find heroes to help battle Volthoom. We then jump back to Coast City in the current day at the Memorial Park. Simon and Jessica are battling Frank's yellow parallax construct monsters he created of Simon and Jessica. Jessica is being all whiny and doubtful as this construct thing is telling her all the downer thoughts she's thinking but doesn't want to listen to. Simon is getting owned as his evil construct monster is continuing to show him how weak he really is without his gun. And then we have Frank ticking in and out of every emotion in the spectrum because he thinks he's still the man who finally earned a power ring, yet completely oblivious to the fact that he is the weakest of all and can't control the ring in any way.
Yep.
So Volthoom is hiding in his apartment, and it literally says an apartment in Coast City.
Yeah.
The apartment
Coast
of the
City apartment.
The apartment of the Phantom Lantern. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, awesome. Sweet
Yeah,
little
sure.
apartment.
Yeah.
Hangout
I
lair.
bet you that's on his door too. The Phantom Lantern.
This is where he was doing all those badass like one-armed push-ups. You
Right.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
it. So he's still in his an apartment with the Guardian. He's still trying to absorb all his power.
Which we don't know like why he's doing this yet.
Right.
I mean, other than the fact that he's just like a bottom feeder, you know.
Right. So Rami and Volthoom talk, and Rami explains there's nothing he can do for Volthoom, and that he should not go down this path. Volthoom calls his bluff, and we learn that the Phantom Ring wasn't even ready for beta testing, let alone to have someone take control of it. So
Beta testing. They beta test freaking Green Lantern rings. Are you serious? It's like an app on a phone.
Right.
Yeah.
dude,
All right.
you got to test that stuff.
Gotta-
Otherwise, you don't know where the bugs are at until they show
They're
up.
gonna get focus
That
groups
construct-
of lanterns and stuff.
That's what Volthoom is. Is a big phantom bug that happened, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Shit, how do we fix this?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With a construct.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Ice water.
We'll just make it gold and then another one, and then we'll just flood the market with them. And
Yeah.
it'll fix the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's iPhone. Never mind.
Oh man.
so
Boom,
Volthoom,
shots fired.
so Volthoom still won't listen,
Bad iPhone.
as he's still dead set on getting revenge against the Guardians. Rami tries to explain that the Phantom Ring has no battery to protect the user, and that the human Frank cannot continue. He is going to explode if he does. So basically, like, he's kind of explaining how the batteries kind of act as kind of protects.
regulator.
Yeah, it acts as a regulator. Basically,
Yeah.
it protects
It's a
the
conduit between like
Raw energy gets kind of dampened down to the lantern itself, and then it gets another layer of dampening down to the ring, so you can use it. It's like getting overloaded.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
I envisioned it.
Right.
Yeah.
If
exactly.
If you mainline
yeah, exactly.
the power, you can't
all that
handle it.
concentrated
Yes.
power. It's not it's
So-
more than one person can handle.
Yeah, so Frank's basically freebasing with the Phantom Ring.
I like that.
So-
Free basing.
All right.
So far,
Brookheimer's
we've
going to
hit-
make a new
we've hit-
movie.
We've hit sex and drugs, and we just need some rock and roll tonight.
That's right.
We're good to
Thumbs up,
go.
knuckle bump.
Ring
yeah.
knuckle bump.
Okay.
That was a whole lot of fill right there, fellas.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're trying to do the constructs for construct knuckle bump, you know.
Put your power rings away, boys.
Yeah.
All right, so Rami tells Volthoom that because of him, they made the Spectrum forbidden tech for sentient beings for billions of years. Volthoom then screams at Rami that it's his fault, and Rami ruined him. Volthoom then powers up in a blaze of glory and attacks Rami. Volthoom tells him that he just wanted to go home, and Rami put the battery in his chest. Now that Volthoom is barely even a ghost and can barely grasp any hint of a physical form, he is going to take over Rami and use him for his revenge. Rami once more warns that Frank is going to destroy us all if he doesn't stop him. So basically, yeah, Volthoom's just trying to take over Rami from what it sounds like, because that's going to give him like a physical being that he can control, I guess.
Yeah.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, from what I can tell, he's done this to a lot of people too, and like it's a temporary thing where it's like he'll suck the life force out of something and it'll give him a little bit of juice for a while, but then he's got to do it again.
But is this a technique that the Guardians themselves use?
That's what I read
because I kind of read it as like Rami taught him this skill.
Yeah.
Well, no. So
he said something with the Maltose transfer.
Yeah.
So back in Green Lanterns, The End, the last New 52 story that Jeff Johns wrote on, like the Guardians did this to him. They made him like a being that requires so much energy. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what they're referring to when they say they taught him how to do this, but it's like, I mean, this is their fault. They created Volthoom. They created that monster.
Yeah, well, Volthoom, or Rami made it sound like it was some sort of technique that he showed him. But, like, from what it sounds like that Volthoom basically got to the point to where he was begging for help. And that's why they kind of did it, because I think it was the only way to break him from the power, so to speak. But then it sounds like it trapped him wherever he's at. And, I mean, you get one panel of Volthoom strapped to this table with like a Phantom Lantern battery just like strapped to his chest. So,
well, actually, it was a White Lantern.
Oh, it was a White Lantern.
Yeah, because when he first makes his appearance, 52 or pre-52, he shows up with his White Lantern because he's the official first Lantern.
Okay.
Yep.
But sorry, go ahead. It's awesome.
So like there was all kinds of new stuff that came up in this issue that I hadn't seen or known about. So I was like, "Whoa, man, it's throwing all kinds of stuff at me." So, all right. So we cut back to Jessica still being all whiny and getting whooped, just for her to have a flashback of a great pep talk her sister gave her. Basically, her sister talks about her anxiety that she struggled with and all this and that. And, you know, she's one of the most powerful people that her sister knows because she was able to fight and pull through all of that.
Yep. That's why, again, I'm going to say she's going to be the most powerful Green Lantern ever just because she has such a large amount of fear and anxiety to overcome.
I could see that. And then just like that, with the renewed thought of all that she had struggled through, this is nothing. And with a burst of confidence, she fires a green spike right through the head of the construct she is fighting. Meanwhile, Simon is in a chokehold from the construct he is fighting with a gun pointed against his head. But then the construct makes a mistake of threatening Simon's family, and he goes all crazy and just beats the crap out of the construct after that point.
Yep.
So
beautiful. I love
that was kind of cool because obviously Simon has his struggles too, but then it's like you threaten his family, he will murder you.
Yep.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
So Frank is now flashing between emotions from red with rage to blue with hope of defeating Simon and Jess. I thought that was kind of funny. He turned into a Blue Lantern, like maybe I can beat them now.
Yeah.
Then
I hope I can.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he goes right to yellow, and he's being so afraid of what is happening. To orange when Jess and Simon try again to remove the ring.
Yeah. He's like, it's mine.
Yeah, after all this, Frank goes back to yellow. He starts to realize he can't control the ring, and he questions, while after everything that he's done to them, Jessica and Simon are still trying to help him. In true hero fashion, Jessica and Simon explain that helping others people is what they do, even when it gets hard. That's what it means to be a Green Lantern. Frank then screams that it's happening again, and he is overrun with power. The light coming from him is so powerful it even blasts Jessica and Simon back. We'll find out what happens next in The Phantom Lantern, Part 4.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that people didn't die from that explosion. I mean, like, there's some casualties
especially if
there.
that part probably still loaded with people just going, whoa, watching all the fighting and stuff.
It does look empty behind Simon and Jess right there, but this looks like a big explosion to me.
Dude, like, the way this comic is drawn, like, I love it because it really captures, like, him changing between each color, but he goes into like phantom pulse before each time, so like I can just imagine like what he's got to look like. He's literally got to look like somebody that's just like spazzing in and out and like just like ticking, and I can just imagine like just energy pulse beams just coming off him like the entire. That'd freak me out, dude. If I saw that, I'd be like, I'm gonna go home.
You know, I like this character.
I'm going away now.
The Phantom Lantern, he's a great character.
Frankie boy, yeah, man. I really hope there's a redemption story for him.
Oh, for sure, man. I think they could do so much with it.
You think he's gonna last?
I said I hope.
I don't
he's
think
going
so.
to.
I think he's gone.
And
I'm pulling a Blue Lantern here. I
me too.
I hope
Okay.
that there's a redemption.
And
Well, they've
I
done
don't
such
know
a
what
good job, like developing him. I mean, I would hope they don't just let it go.
And see,
all
that's
this hope,
one thing
man.
I disagree with you guys on. Like, just because it's like, I mean, he kind of weaseled his way into obtaining the ring, and like, I don't see why he deserves like a redemption story, I guess, because he seems like he's the guy that just cheated his way in, you know, and now and granted the ring's controlling him, but I don't know, I just haven't caught that to where I have that hope that he has that redemption moment.
So another way to look at that is like, yes, he's an asshole and he's made some very morally questionable decisions, right? But his actions are motivated by just wanting to be a Green Lantern. And from the very get-go, he's wanted to be a Green Lantern just because he feels like he wants to be a hero. Is he a tool sometimes? Yeah. Is Hal Jordan a tool sometimes? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, like, you know, yes, he makes questionable decisions. Yes, he's a tool sometimes, but he's motivated by good intentions.
Is Cyborg a tool sometime?
Yeah, he's a tool a lot of the time. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, did you think about maybe from that perspective? Because that was like, he's a very unlikable character. Sometimes
I think I'm just on the Frank hate train. Like, I think that's
you
just
just
what
don't
it
like
is.
him.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's just still, it's like he's kind of like him to me is kind of like Barry Allen is to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
we got that difference in opinion there, just because it's like I see just, I think the persona he lets off, maybe it just, I read into it more than maybe you are. You're reading into more like, yeah, hoping he has that redemption. But I'm not a fan. It's cool seeing him go through everything. I like reading about him.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for him to get slapped.
Oh, man. Well, he's getting slapped pretty hard.
I was going to say, yeah. I don't think you have to wait too much longer.
Travis, how do you feel about Frank Leminski?
Frankie boy, I think he's done for. I think he's toast. Just because of the foreshadowing and everything they're saying with Rami saying that no one person can handle all of that power. So it's raw energy flowing through him, and then they kind of show on that last panel that he's exploding. Now, we've seen Green Lanterns explode before, and they're just
many
fine.
times,
Yes.
yes.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say before I forget, so it's interesting, and you brought up the one person, and then there's two Green Lanterns there.
Good point. Yeah, they could maybe absorb together. Or,
I don't know, man.
I don't think so, but
I don't either, but I just had to say it.
My biggest problem with the story, I shouldn't say with the story, but is anybody else getting kind of tired of Jessica? I mean, I like her character. I get the point that she has anxiety and has all these problems, but I'm kind of overhearing about it each week. I don't know if it's like they still think she's so new to the readers that they have to recap it each week, but it's like we get it. She's
new with Rebirth, right?
Yeah, she's new with Rebirth.
No.
Or
right before Rebirth.
Yeah, right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like the anxiety issues, at first, like I love that motivation, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm ready for us to maybe move.
Yeah.
Let's move past it.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I can see that. I think it'll be good with like her and Flash sort of kind of hooking up a little bit, maybe.
I'm not a fan of that.
Why
either.
hasn't she made an anti-anxiety like construct pill yet that just like fixes that for her?
Does Xanax for lanterns?
Right.
That's right.
I don't know if that's how it works, but
Yeah. No.
If I was a lantern, hey, I'd try to figure that out. Make this go away.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Jessica.
I'll do it. It's like a construct condom.
Oh man, we took that to a whole nother level there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready for. I'm not tired of Jessica Cruz.
No, I'm not saying that either. But
I am ready for them to
Let's
move.
build more.
Let's build past this a little bit. Like
I don't think they focused on. Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
But I don't think they've focused on Simon enough. Like he had his own start in 52.
Very interesting one.
Very interesting. But I feel like all of his stuff has been put on the back burner, and they're focusing on his partner, which is fine. But I think we've got enough of her now that we've got a good base that we can now go. Okay, we all know Jessica is a good Green Lantern, or can be a good Green Lantern if she just gets past her anxiety, which we now know. And then we've got Baz over here who doesn't fully trust in his ring, but at the same time, he has done things that no other Green Lantern has ever done. For instance, the I think they call it Emerald Sight. And then in his 52 days, when he first got it, he woke his brother up out of a coma with his ring, which they're not supposed to be able to do. So it's like, these are two very big powerhouses, so let's give them something, you know?
Right. No kidding.
Well, there's like, it almost feels like he's just letting Jessica go on her own there. I mean, like, I don't know, like the two one needs to be more of a mentor type thing for her. I don't know. I mean, she needs somebody to lead her because she's not a leader yet.
But I kind of see what they're doing though with that team, because it's two new rookies and they can build each other up.
Right. Yeah, I don't think she needs a leader, man. Like they're equals for sure. Hal Jordan is their mentor, so I don't know if she.
But where is he?
Well, he at the beginning of this arc, he combined both of their lanterns.
No, and I
into
understand,
one.
but like, you know, he's their mentor, but where is he? He's not really mentoring.
Well, they kind of talk to him every now and then, but yeah, they're on their own. Well, hologram, like they talk. Well, no, that was I think the holiday special that they talked to him for a second.
I don't remember that.
Through hologram.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but in the holiday special, that I don't know when that happened, but they did talk to him momentarily.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's a reason that this story arc is kind of getting like a little bit. We're getting a little bit tired of it, and I think part of it is like it's been 3 issues now that we've seen these two battling Volthoom, or not Frank in the same place. So it's like, I mean, like in the first one, he turned into a yellow lantern, or then an orange lantern. In the second one, he turned into a yellow lantern, and then this is the third one where we're still seeing them battle this out in this park, and it's like,
they definitely need another Green Lantern or like a White Lantern who's just come back to the comics to show up and help them out.
Or I'd like to see Frank actually like throw down instead of just creating like constructs that kind of do it for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe Frank will take out Volthoom.
Ooh.
Yeah, that might be the case, actually. That would be kind of poetic for that to happen.
That'd be a good ending for him, too.
Don't get me wrong, though. I've loved this series. It's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, as much as I'll sort of take a perspective of, like, critiquing it a lot, I wouldn't do that with it. If there's a story that I hate, like, I won't sit here and talk about it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know? So
right?
Look at the discussion it created.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like Tom King's Batman. You know, there are parts that I really kind of question and don't like a lot about that, but I'll sit here for 20 minutes and shoot the shit about it for, you know, so it's like, it's pretty
language.
Yeah. So yeah. Good book. Cool. I think. What did we kind of?
Oh yeah, we hijacked it.
We hijacked your.
No, it was good. It was good. I like shooting the shit.
Yeah.
I gave it a holy, just because like, I mean, still overall, like, I'm still really liking the story. Again, as much as I like hate on Frank, like the fact that I have so much hate towards him, I got to give credit to that, because obviously that's good character building, that's good character development.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's not just like a cheesy character. I'm like, whatever. It's like, oh, I hate that guy.
They really took like a solid issue to develop this character, and they gave you his whole backstory. And like, man, like that doesn't happen very often in DC Comics. It seems like,
unless it's an important character,
even
they
then,
may have plans for.
Even then, though, man, Night of the Monster Men, like they didn't give us anything on Hugo Strange, and that's why that story felt kind of cheap towards the end. You know, so
cool.
And the cool little flashbacks to like 10 billion years ago was kind of neat, like to where the Guardians are still super advanced and techie race of beings. But when you see the first initial green power rings when they get sent out and stuff, you learn why that happened. And then seeing Frank strapped to the table with that lantern bolted to his chest, that was just kind of like, whoa, this is getting like some Frankenstein type shit right here. So
which is cool because, sorry to interrupt you, but pre-52, it was kind of neat to see. They put the lantern inside of Volthoom's chest. They did the same thing with the Alpha Lanterns. They took all the, what 4 or 5? I can't remember now. 5, I think.
I think so.
They took 5 Green Lanterns and they put a lantern in their chest and made him basically a hybrid Manhunter to a human.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, well, we don't learn from our mistakes. You know? So
Right.
it was kind of neat to see that, you know, it's a history thing, which
Sure.
I loved about this book too. So sorry,
Yep.
go ahead.
No, you're good. So I gave it a holy. I'm still
Cool.
really enjoying it. So
Awesome.
I
give it a
do
holy.
agree with you on that, Holy. Yeah.
That last splash is awesome. Was Jessica and Simon. I would love to see a series at the beginning of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, like the very,
Start.
very early Guardian stuff.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be kind of interesting. I think like that stuff would
Or at
be...
least
and the
the
Green
minis-
Lanterns
miniseries.
were probably first then, right? As far as all the spectrums.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were. Yes. Yep, they were. I read that somewhere. I don't remember where though. But it was that they didn't have enough. It may have been this book. They didn't have enough. They could only harness one of the emotional spectrums, the Guardians. So they chose Will, and those were
That
the
was this
first
book?
lanterns. Yeah, that was this book. So
Well, this
yeah.
book also talked about how, like, which I thought was interesting, how, like, as the Guardians are talking to each other, they're like, well, that was an extremely emotional response. And I was like, what are they saying? And then, like, at one point, Rami talks about how they're to the point to where they can no longer tap into the emotional spectrum, because I think I've seen this in other sci-fi stories, too. As you advance and evolve, like, you become less worried about, like, petty emotions and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, they seem like they evolved to the point to where they couldn't anymore, and that's why they created the rings, because there's like 7e to the 19th power number of other sentient beings out in the universe that can, and so like they created the rings to help just other people tap into it. So yeah, it's just a lot of interesting back stuff that I learned on this one.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a very good story. All right, cool. So we are going to move things along here to Travisaurus Rex. That's why I never see any selfies on your Facebook. You don't have arms that are long
enough?
to
Yeah.
pick it up. We need to get him a selfie stick for
Got
Christmas.
a big head and little arms.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm having a bad day, I just picture a T-Rex trying to make his bed.
Yeah. I like it.
I don't make my bed. Okay, Batman number 13, I Am Suicide Part 5. The team is King, I'm going to script this name, but Yanni? Janie? Yeah. Okay. John
Janine-
Chung.
Is it Janine?
Yeah.
Janine.
No.
And there's no
IN.
E. It's just IN.
Oh, I don't know.
But, all right.
Whatever.
So we open in the Batcave, where Amanda Waller strolls in on Pennyworth while he's straightening up the cave. She's there to take files for an upcoming mission of hers, which was really weird. She just strolls right on in there.
I hate her.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel, Josh.
I hate her.
Do you hate her? Okay. Stay tuned for Ben's review of Suicide Squad versus Justice League.
That's Justice League versus Suicide Squad.
Same thing.
You got your peanut butter in my chocolate.
Yeah, I got my chocolate in your peanut butter.
Okay.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Do you guys need alone tonight? I don't know.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in Santa Prisca, where a naked Bane stands over a beaten Batman, while Catwoman, the traitor, watches her former teammate get destroyed.
Come on, Bane, put on some clothes.
Yeah, right? As Batman is being ripped a new bat hole by Bane, his entire team is standing idle like cogs in a machine, ready to engage, but nothing's happening. The ventriloquist stands underground, staring at his watch, while the two masked people, Punch and Julie... Did I get that right? Punch
Yes.
and Julie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I said Julian Punch, but you know,
Give him an inch and he'll take a mile.
I had to. I'm sorry.
In the bat hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
Punch and Julie lay on a conveyor belt being going towards an incinerator. The Bronze Tiger, meanwhile, is shooting up venom in a broom closet somewhere on the island, and it looks like Bats' plan has taken a horrible turn. Through Bane's monologue, we find out that Psycho Pirate was with Bane to take the place of Venom and make him feel better. Batman takes a few more minutes of punishment and then sets the cogs of his machine into motion.
yeah, that was like the methadone for his heroin, or his,
Yeah.
you know, like the. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah, okay.
Wow.
There's so much drug talk tonight.
There is a lot of drug talk.
God,
Stay in school. Don't do
giving me
drugs.
flashbacks.
The cat breaks The cat breaks Bane. Catwoman springs into action by landing a boot heel in Bane's back. Crack! And it's not in a good way. Ventriloquist and Tiger show up, and Batman gives the order to Ventriloquist to get the pirate. Smugly, Psycho Pirate tries to take over Whisker, which is the part of Ventriloquist.
I love this part too.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's so funny.
Hang with me. It's a little confusing, but it makes sense. So Psycho Pirate tries to take over Whisker's mind, but Whisker doesn't call the shots. It's Scarface who controls Whisker, and Scarface knocks out the pirate. So Scarface is the little wooden doll that he normally carries around with him, and he doesn't have the wooden doll, so he's talking to his hand puppet. He's just the whole time. It's like, I control the people around here.
Enough of this.
Yeah. And after that, Bronze Tiger immediately knocks out Whisker to prevent any dualities from screwing up the plan, which I thought was excellent.
I missed that. That's why I punched him out. But yeah, that's awesome to know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Catwoman blows a hole in the wall and for an escape route to the bubblegum raft that's floating down below where Julie and Punch are waiting. As the crew loads up Psycho Pirate, Batman gives Bane the same advice he doled out while beating up on Batman. You're brave, you're happy, and you can always stop. The Bat crew rolls out, and Bane's crew rolls in, finding him screaming for his venom. That was a quick review. I suggest you guys take your time and read it.
Yeah.
It's not very long. However, it's a great tie-up issue. That's at the very end. It's just beautiful. I loved it.
It's not everything I expected from this issue. I was thinking there was a lot more to this, but it is everything that I think I wanted from it.
I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, at the very end, I was like, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it wasn't super heavy on narrative. It left you kind of to draw those conclusions and everything. But I just said good art. Kind of a hard story to follow at sometimes.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That was like the main thing for me was like the way some of the panels jump with what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Like Julie and Punch. Like the whole time I'm like, what relevance?
And
I was just like,
none.
how did they? I don't
Until the
understand.
raft.
And the same thing
I
with
love that
Bronze Tiger. It's like, does he really need to be in this? But
And did he need to be all jacked up on Venom?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Because I mean, didn't him and Batman just go toe to toe just for funsies? Like,
yeah.
Well, it was kind of to keep up that facade of like, making it seem like they were at odds or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Well, I just meant like just for training purposes or whatever.
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
they
yeah.
could just go toe to toe,
Yeah, that's
just
true.
duking it out.
There was just like a bunch of underlying, like, you figure out your own story kind of thing. It's one of those choose your adventure books.
Yeah.
But
Go to page 42.
yeah, exactly. If you want Batman to get broken, go to page 3.
If you want Batman and Catwoman to make out, go to page 21.
There's no page 21.
20. It's 20.
It's probably still stuck to page 20.
Oh,
Oh, that's pretty handy there, man.
Very good.
I said holy Batman story.
Yeah, I
was-
agree.
Cool.
I agree, though. I still like the story. It was just
Yeah.
that was the only thing I had with it. It was just, man, sometimes it just jumps around. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, yeah,
I had to go back and reread. And
I forgot what was going on with Punch and Julie. I had to go back to the last one and read it again before I wrote my review.
and that's the other
what
thing.
are they
Didn't
doing in
and
that?
didn't they get shot?
Yeah,
Something. I
I
don't
told you
know.
that. I told you when this happened, though. I thought that death was fake. I thought
Yeah.
You did call it. I remember you called it.
I said that Catwoman wasn't going off script this whole time. This was
Yeah.
all part of the plan. I think a lot of the directions the story went in were like the part where he like leaves the ventilation shaft where he's directly above Bane, escapes the prison, goes all the way to the top, goes all the way back down, only to fight like 100 dudes. Mm-hmm. A lot of that was like just really impressive artwork and picture storytelling to give us that letter that Catwoman wrote to him to kind of explain their relationship and stuff. And there's a lot of exposition, and a lot of development.
and I think it was another way to show the readers how devoted Batman is when he gets his mind set on something too.
Yeah.
And I think you guys talked about this when I was out, but the whole why do they call it I am suicide thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what this whole entire book was about.
It
was the
was,
fact
yeah.
that he devotes himself entirely and he will not be swayed off of his mission. So
Yeah, he gave his life away.
Yeah.
He basically committed suicide and said like, I'm
Yeah.
done living my life. I'm giving it to the cause.
And that's the whole. What is it? He went after Psycho Pirate because Gotham Girl was destroyed by Psycho Pirate, so he's bringing her back.
Well, yeah, Gotham Girl right now is under the effects of Psycho Pirate,
so
which
he's going to get it corrected.
They still haven't. I'm a little bit ready for them to pick that back up, but at the same time, Gotham Girl, the more she uses her powers, the shorter her life is.
Yeah.
So even if Psycho Pirate fixes her emotional issues that she's having right now, they're still going to have problems with, like, how are we going to fix just her overall condition, which I miss Gotham Girl, man. I liked
she's
her.
a great character.
Yeah. A little bit of a generic costume, but overall, yeah. What more can you ask for? So
Holy, holy, holy.
Holy, yep. All right, cool. So before we get a break,
Holy great comics, Batman.
Yep. Holy Justice League versus Suicide number 11, Batman. Number 1, Batman. Number 1, not 11. We're not there
I
yet.
was gonna say, man, wow, you're going for it there, buddy.
I'm going for it. That's all I do. So Justice League versus Suicide Squad number 1, numero uno. We got story by Joshua Williamson, art by Jason Fabek. So this story opens up and we get this panel of like someone walking into a prison, right? And like these two guards are like, hey, stop. You got to stop. And this guy's like, kill each other. And these two people kill each other. So instantly my mind goes to Purple Man from Jessica Jones.
I was with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Really?
I wasn't.
Really?
That's what I thought too.
Well, that's his power set, though. I mean,
it is. But for one,
I knew this was
Marvel.
I knew this was Maxwell Lord. It just brought me to that place.
I got you.
I actually didn't know that Maxwell Lord had that. I knew it was Maxwell Lord because I just knew I knew going in who this guy was, but I did not know he had that skill set. But it's kind of a perfect skill set when you think about it. I mean, if you were to comparatively say who is the Purple Man of the DC universe, Maxwell Lord's a pretty close call, in terms of that. Just like Daredevil's the Batman, like they kind of balance each other out. But anyway, so he breaks into this prison, and we see him like he kills a bunch of guards, kills a doctor, and frees a bunch of prisoners. They're all silhouettes. We don't know who they are yet. So then we jump to Suicide Squad on a mission, and it's our basic Suicide Squad crew. We got Deadshot, Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Killer Frost, Rick Flag. I don't know if Rick Flag's there. We got Captain Boomerang, and they're all doing their thing, battling soldiers. Amanda Waller's giving orders, whatever. And they're going off against this one guy who has like a skull mask, and I'm not really sure what his deal is. Does anyone know what his deal is?
No, I couldn't figure out who that was.
Okay.
His name is Apex. That's all I
Apex, okay. Yeah, we'll have to expand on that someday.
Okay, he's got the whole little thermal detonator thing looking.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Nice Star Wars. Yeah. All right, so then we jump over to Justice League, who's in the Watchtower, and Batman's like, yeah, guys, so about your villains, there's kind of this club that they have where they like to team up and do missions together, and the Justice League's like, why haven't you told us about this ever before? Seriously? And he's like, yeah, this has been going on for a while, guys. Sorry about that.
It was need to know. You guys really didn't need to know.
Yeah, and then Cyborg.
I'm the other one with a brain in this bunch.
Yeah, and then Cyborg's like, oh, by the way, there's a team of supervillains causing trouble somewhere, so let's go save them, save the day, whatever. So
that information is mine.
It's mine. All right, so then back with the Suicide Squad, they defeat Skullface, Apex, whatever his name is, and there's this building that's about to crash down, and Deadshot's on top of it, and it's like the Suicide Squad's kind of upset, they're like, man, there's people in there, they're gonna die, that's not cool, and like they're all upset. Deadshot can't escape from this building he's on top of. It's too far to jump. He takes one last look at a picture of him and his daughter and says, you know what, I'm cashing in my chips, I'm done. So he just falls off the building, and right as he's about to die, we get a sweet ass splash page of Superman saving Deadshot and saying, not today, Deadshot. So then Justice League all obviously shows up, and they save the building from falling down. They save all the people.
Which, halt, sorry. I just caught this. So if this is all in this right time, take a look at that splash, or that page with Superman saving Deadshot.
Yep.
His boots are red.
Oh, wow.
Rebirth Superman has blue boots with a red outline.
Oh,
Oh
man.
wow, that's good to have some context for the time. You do have to wonder though, because Noah pointed out last week,
Yeah.
in Red Hood and the Outlaws, that like Artemis had black boots in one half of the issue, and red they just changed colors. And then
That's weird.
Yeah,
It
so
very well could just be
it could
an
be an
accident,
issue.
but yeah.
yeah. So the Justice League shows up, and they're like, "Hey guys, you're done. You need to come along willingly." And Amanda Waller is radioing to the Suicide Squad, and she's like, "You guys know what to do." And Deadshot's like,
I
"No,
hate her.
No,
I hate her so much.
Yeah, but that's why she's great. She's meant to be hated.
No, screw her. She's horrible. Everything about her's horrible.
Well, we'll talk about that in Sunday school. I think I have some things that'll make you sympathize with her.
Nope. Not gonna
Yeah, I do actually. So she tells Deadshot, "You know what to do." They're facing off with the Justice League, and Deadshot's like, "No, Amanda, I want to hear you say it." And I'm thinking she's going to say something like, "Kill the Justice League," but she says, "Don't let the Justice League take you alive, or you're dead." And then we get a double splash page that was not as sweet because it's cut off in the wrong 2-page view, but I'm sure it was very cool in print.
You can reset that.
Yeah, so I
You have to show me how to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, we'll work on that tonight actually, because all of us need to be able to do. Yeah, it's distracting at times, to have that PDF thing going. But anyway, we jump back to the Swiss Alps. At this prison, apparently, it's like this big castle looking, well, I guess it's a castle. It's not a prison. And we get some narration of, I love this world, but something's happened. There's been a change. And, I'm thinking like, this is Maxwell Lord. He's talking about DC Rebirth, but he's actually just talking about how he doesn't like the metahumans and stuff like that. So then we get like these really cool like five panel page where we see just a little panel. I recognize Lobo. Do you guys recognize who the villains are in this?
Yeah, Emerald Empress.
Emerald Empress.
Yeah, and
I
Dr.
didn't.
Polaris.
I don't know.
Dr. Polaris is DC's Magneto.
Okay. Then Johnny Sorrow and Rustam.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are.
Lobo was the only one I recognized after I saw the full page.
Rustan he looks pretty darn badass type Assassin's Creedy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really cool lineup of superhumans, and so we get Maxwell Lord has taken all these supervillains and built a team. We get a double splash page of this supervillain team, which I'm loving the artwork on this, man. Book of the week, and then we get a final splash page of Maxwell Lord saying, "I'm going to save the world." And his nose is bleeding, so he's controlling all of these people. He's using his powers.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, because that's his deal. That's what I learned that on Weird Science this week. They did a spotlight on this issue, but his nose bleeds when he uses his powers.
I had to even look him up who he is, because I was like, who is this guy? And then
season 1 of Supergirl.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it. So.
He's also, so the last time he showed up was
when he was controlling Superman, right?
Yeah, and Wonder Woman snapped his neck.
Yeah, and
were
that was
you
like
there that night with Noah?
Yeah, but I had to look him up, and then when I looked him up and I was reading about it, and then I was like, oh, this is the dude that was controlling Superman that one time or whatever.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. So, man, I gotta say, like this first of all, this is the first event in DC Rebirth. Night of the Monster Man was not an event. It didn't have its own title. So this has its own title. And for the first event of DC Rebirth, I'm freaking stoked, man. This thing has me pumped.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I love it, dude. The artwork is great. Like just fantastic. I don't know, man. I'm doing it. I give it a salvation. I enjoy it.
That's what I would
Agreed.
give it. I give it salvation.
I don't think I could have asked for any more, especially for a book that has so many players.
Yeah.
I mean, it just flat out gave you captions of who they all were. They didn't waste any time trying to bullshit and tell you like, here's this person and this is who they are. It's just like, this is them. We're setting it up. Here it goes.
I feel like this is going to be kind of like the Justice League Amazovirus. I thought that was a pretty good run, and I feel like this is the same thing. And I think this is the same artist that did it.
Now tell me a little bit about Justice League Amazovirus.
I'll get to that in Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let him do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's in the book that I'm covering.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So is it a New 52 or a pre-New 52 thing?
No, it's what I'm reviewing tonight.
Oh, that's Justice League Amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
so you're saying that's what this should have been? Or
No, I'm
could
saying
be.
Justice League Amazovirus was 52. And I'm just saying that the art and the feeling behind the book feels like this. And I think it's going to be great because it was a story arc all of itself, and it was just amazing when they brought in all of these new characters, and then the main guy Amazo, and they retooled it. But
are you talking about Amazo? No, you're.
I'm talking about the issue tonight.
Yeah, no,
just
no.
Okay,
no. But this,
tell me a little bit
bad
about
guy
Amazo
out
virus.
of Amazo is in your story tonight.
He is, and
I'm
I'm going to be touching a little bit about that too in mine. But yeah.
But Justice League Amazo virus was Lex Luthor releases. Well, it's not really Lex Luthor. It's when Lex Luthor is brought into the Justice League, and the Justice League still really doesn't like him, doesn't really want him to be part of it, and there was like a terrorist attack almost on the Luthor Corp building, and when that happened, a container of this Amazo virus released, and it infected all of Metropolis.
Oh, okay.
The only thing it doesn't affect is Superman, because it was Lex designed it and developed it to kill Superman, but Superman's antibodies fought it off without Superman even knowing this happened. But he found out it had these other abilities, so he kind of like put it in cold storage for a little while.
Oh, wow.
And when it got released, it started taking over all the humans, and it actually took over metahumans as well. And it put the Justice League flat on their back, except for Superman and Batman. But Batman was because he had the Batman biohazard suit or whatever.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it was a story arc that was just fantastic, and I should just pick it up. I think it was 5 issues, maybe 6 issues long. Cool. But
very cool.
Great art just like this. I'm pretty darn sure that this is exactly the same artist.
You kind of have me wanting to read that now.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Well,
did you rate this?
Oh, Salvation.
Oh, Salvation.
Yeah,
I'm calling it Salvation. Sorry. Did you read this, Josh?
I did. Did anybody else, like, when you got to the panels of the earthquakes, did that mess with anybody else's eyes?
No.
Like, dude, when I first saw that, I'm like, what the crap? My computer's out of focus. Yeah. Like, what is going on? It won't load the page.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that?
I thought that was an awesome little touch, man. Just cool effect. I've never seen that in a comic.
Oh, nothing. Oh, that is a great point. That there's a lot of dialogue from Killer Frost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I know she's going to be part of the Justice League of America coming up soon.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that was confirmed a while ago.
Okay.
It's her. Cool. I can't remember who else, which is weird because she's not really a good guy. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm interested to see it, but
her and Firestorm a thing though. So
in this, they make her sound like. Does she have to absorb people's life energy to even stay alive?
I don't know.
That's kind of what they made it sound like to me in this.
Does.
It's not like she's just, I don't know. Like, it's just, it threw me off. I was like, whoa.
Well, yeah, she has to absorb people's life force to survive, and that's why her and Firestorm were actually a
and
couple.
that's why you're saying that, because she can absorb off of him.
Yeah, and he doesn't die from it. So she absorbs the heat and lives, and that's why I kind of like... In the lead up to this, there was an issue of Suicide Squad where the last half of it was just her being walked through a corridor to Amanda Waller, where Amanda Waller did the whole put a thing in your neck
thing.
But while she was walking down the corridor, she was being introduced to all the members of the Suicide Squads in their cells, and she saw El Diablo, and she's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, because he could do the fire thing too.
I could suck the life force out of you all day.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I missed it. So yeah, man, I really love Killer Frost too, man. The more I read DC comics and the more I talk to Noah, the more I really, really, really dig the girls of DC Comics. There's just some totally badass girls. Like I've always been a Batgirl fan. Killer Frost, Wonder Woman. I mean, like Artemis is just totally cool and like crazy. You know, like
it's a lady.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know.
Ladies' night.
So yeah, I guess we are right about at an hour, just over an hour. Little news: we do have a new sponsor for the show. So I'm going to send you to the break so that you can hear the ad for our sponsor. Are misguided penguins trampling your lawn? Are you tired of waking up to stray cats caterwauling in the night? Do you have bats in your attic? Worry no more. Gotham City Pest Control has you covered. We offer 24-hour, 7-day-a-week pest removal. We've been proudly serving the Gotham City area for over 76 years. Call us today at 555-285-2844. That's 555-28-LAUGH. And ask for Mr. J. We'll get rid of your pest problems and leave you smiling. No joke. Call today. All right, and what do we say, Josh?
And we're back.
And we're back. Yeah, Travis kind of stole it from you last
Baby got
week.
back.
I tried to.
No, I heard it, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Someone's got to cover.
Keep the dream alive.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We tried to fill in for the puns when you weren't here, and we failed horribly. But
No,
we tried.
you did a good
we
job.
tried.
No, we did.
Brad's a little better at it than I am.
No, he's not. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Shots
kidding.
fired.
Oh,
I was gonna say.
Oh, come on. Don't get all sensitive on me, Brad. No.
Okay.
He's
Nothing?
a big teddy bear, man.
I was just...
So emotional, man.
Okay,
I
I'm
love
good.
Brad's puns. No, he knows I love his puns. All right, so we are going to keep things moving on here.
Jokes.
Rockin' the dad pod.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. All right, so what do we got, Josh?
We got He-Man Thundercats number 3 by Rob David and Lloyd Goldfine. Art by Freddie E. Williams II and Jeremy Colwell.
This is
on
going to be
colors.
kind of a surprise for me because I haven't touched any of these, man. You lent me the first one. I still haven't read it yet. I'm sorry about that.
Dude, it's okay. Evidently,
Yeah.
it's a hot comic, though, because I still haven't gotten this number 2 from Mayhem. They still
Wow.
haven't
Really?
even called me.
Wow.
Did
So
you? Oh,
it's
really?
either a hot comic or that batch that they got imported that was destroyed. They just decided not to print anymore, to send any more out. I don't know. So, all right. But anyways, story starts off in Snake Mountain where the Thundercats are launching their attack against Skeletor and the Sword of Power. After a long back and forth battle between them, it appears all is lost and that Skeletor is just too powerful. Each Thundercat has been bested by him. Lino launches another attack only to get slashed across the face. The other cats come to his rescue because, after all, he's their king. So they're just like, we need to protect you. So this time they attack together, and it looks like the tides are turning. As the Thundercats are getting the upper hand, Skeletor begins to hear Mumra's voice. Now remember, last issue, Skeletor turned him into a potion and drank him. So Mumra explains once again, so as long as evil exists, Mumra exists.
Only in He-Man Thundercats. This is wild.
Yeah. Lino, now knowing that Skeletor is teamed with Mumra, he takes full advantage of Mumra's weakness. He attacks and tells him not to look in the mirror. No joke. He's like, ha! Don't look at your reflection. And then he puts his sword in front of Skeletor's face. And fortunately, a weakness of Mumra is that when he looks at his own reflection, he just completely goes powerless. So when Skeletor looks into Lino's blade, he sees Mumra's reflection and screams in agony. The Thundercats pounce and hit him with everything they got, even the Thunder Tank.
Meow.
So Skeletor then vanishes, but the Thundercats have recovered the Sword of Power, and they head out to return it to its owner. So we then see Skeletor and Mumra having a quiet conversation with themselves. Skeletor not liking Mumra in his head, but Mumra loving that he's slowly gaining control of Skeletor as he becomes more powerful. We then see Mumra using Skeletor as a puppet, and he begins to make Skeletor punch himself in the face.
Three Stooges.
Yeah, and then he makes him
And there's 3 panels.
Why are you
poke
hitting yourself?
himself in the eyes, and then makes him choke himself. So this is all just going on, and you see Mumra and Skeletor just yelling back and forth at each other, and like it's literally just Skeletor like you said, 3 Stooging
Right.
himself like
This is
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's awesome. That's why I enjoy this so much. So let's see here. So then Skeletor transforms into Mumra, and then back into Skeletor, then back into Mumra, then back into Skeletor, all while yelling back and forth at each other. It's like watching a crazy person argue with themselves.
Skeletor! Dumra!
Yeah, and there's some hilarious name calling that happens too.
What's army, jackass?
Yeah, dude, it's just gold. So as they continue to beat on each other, they suddenly calm down and come up with a new plan to work together. So just like that, they're just like fighting each other, poking each other in the eyes, and then they're like, this sucks, but let's point this anger at a common foe. So the Thundercats are now walking into town to return the sword. But as they are entering, we see everyone gathered together. It's a funeral for Prince Adam, a.k.a. He-Man. Lino speaks to the king and gives him his condolences and then returns the sword. As they exchange some kind words, the ground begins to rumble. And the final page is a full splash. Mumra and Skeletor called forth the ancient spirits of evil. and are launching an attack to bring Mumra and Skeletor the power of Grayskull.
So the ancient spirits of evil, is that like, do you know much about this villain?
The ancient spirits of evil are what, basically, they're the spirits that Mumra talks to. They're the spirits that Mumra gets power from. They're these like ancient spirits of this world that basically he gets power from them. So these ancient spirits in the first issue, they were also, because they work with Mumra, they were fed up with Mumra's constant failures. So they somehow got in contact with Skeletor. That's how the whole world's coming together thing happened. And the Skeletor used the ancients basically to betray Mumra, to turn him into the potion and drink him.
Okay, cool.
So it's, I don't know how else to explain it than that, but Skeletor has, from what it looked like, he has these golden disc things that allow him to communicate with the ancients, and that's how they started talking and stuff. But then it looks like right at the end he used them, him and Mumra used those discs together to summon the ancients to attack the city, basically, is what it's looking like. So.
And what's this very last panel with, like, it looks like an eagle or something at the very bottom of it? On the very last splash page? Yeah, it looks like a bald eagle or something like that.
That's the sorceress.
Is that the sorceress?
Yeah. Look, she's right there too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
I didn't look too much into it. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, the colors kind of give it away too.
But now that you say that, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's some significant character, but
yeah, I bet that's the sorceress. She's gonna bring He-Man back to life.
Okay, cool.
yeah. So is He-Man really dead? Guess we'll find out next time on Back to Third Earth.
Pulling a little DC action, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. Yeah.
Well, Third Earth is actually like the Thundercats' homeworld. Well, not their homeworld. Their homeworld was destroyed. This was like the world they escaped to and inhabited, basically. So, but yeah. So I give this book a holy. I know I gave it a salvation last week, but like I said, I mean, as I was saying earlier, from getting into the story now, and I'm starting to see some of the repeat style and writings and stuff. So I mean, it's still good. But I didn't want to just throw out another salvation on it, you know. So
yeah,
cool.
Sometimes that like fanfare sort of wears off as like the story arc continues.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't want my fanboydom to like skew, you know, the results.
Well, but that's a valid perspective,
extent,
though. I
yeah.
mean, I feel like this book is geared towards a very specific type of reader, where it's like, you know, someone who grew up on Thundercats and He-Man. So like, I don't feel like a lot of people that didn't grow up on Thundercats and He-Man are going to read this book. So, you know, it's, a lot of fanboying out.
So but I thought this book still delivered for me, from the humor and the dialogue between Skeletor and Mumra to the badass kickassery of the Thundercats. I'm still having a lot of fun with this. The art and colors, like, I still really like. I like the way it's drawn. I think the colors really add a lot to it. Highly recommend it, especially if you were ever into He-Man or Thundercats back in the day. This won't disappoint.
Yeah, the artwork is beautiful.
I was more into He-Man than I was into Thundercats, and yeah, you're right, man.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you?
It's good.
I was more into Thundercats than He-Man, but I haven't read any of this yet. I'm going to be that guy that waits until the arc is done, and then I'm going to read it all.
Cool. That's fair.
There are some comics, though, that I treat that way, where, like, I just do graphic novels. Like Star Wars, the Star Wars comics. I don't know about you, Brad.
I buy every issue.
I do buy every issue, but I like to collect them and wait until I have, like, 6 issues. Do you read them every time they come out?
I read them right away.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're like super Star Wars.
I'm a huge Star Wars guy.
Yeah, we need to do like a Rogue One episode. I just feel like it's like, you know, we need to.
But there's so many people that are doing the Rogue One right now. I mean,
I mean, I have listened, but you know, it's normally like, I got really tired of hearing Suicide Squad movie reviews on my feed. True. I have not gotten tired of listening to Rogue One movie reviews on my feed. Just, I think, because it was such a good movie.
Right. So they're all positive, and you know, you want to hear that positivity.
Yeah, it was Suicide Squad. There was a lot of negativity, so it was like I got kind of burnt out on people whining about something. But back to this issue, the artwork was just phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on the story because I haven't read it, but I will say the artist did a very good job on this one. So
yeah, for sure,
I'd have to give it a high holy just based on the artwork. So
yeah.
So all right, next up we are going to move things on to Travis.
Green Arrow number 13.
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty, Green Arrow number 13, Emerald Outlaw. The team is Percy and Schmidt. We start out with We start out our story with Ollie and Dinah, reflecting on how wonderful it is to live in Seattle and how being together is amazing, but the love is interrupted by danger. A woman was shot by an arrow nearby. Green Arrow and the Canary rush to the scene where the EMTs and the cops are assessing the situation, already pointing out that no one else was capable of doing this except for Green Arrow.
Redheaded recap lady. She wasn't dead. I'm so happy. I don't know why I've become...
You're pretty traumatized by that.
I was so upset by that because I really like this character.
Right?
She was such a sweetheart. And like the Benjamin Percy just shot her through the chest with an arrow. Like, what the hell is that about? And then I opened this issue and it's like, yeah, she's not dead. Yay. I don't know. That's an unhealthy attachment I have to this character. Yeah.
So Green Arrow confronts the cops and they open fire on the two vigilantes. They escape, but to only be driven to operate in the shadows in order to find the Arrow Killer before he strikes again.
Creative name there.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as the throwing
star guy
from the TV show. Yeah.
Yeah. Back at the police station, Chief Westberg meets with a Sergeant Notting, who was put on leave for roughing up a suspect. Did I get that right? He roughed up a suspect, or he beat up, or something happened. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't been reading all of the stories. So
So in the last story arc, like there was two people in a car, and they were like, I think they were African American, and he pulled one of them out and started beating on him, and the girl passenger took a video of it, and then Green Arrow showed up and saved the day from this cop, and that's why he got taken off.
Gotcha. So, okay. The chief makes it very clear that he knows Notting is a bad cop and that he only wants good for the city. The sergeant doesn't like being lectured to about cleaning up the city, so he storms out. While this plays out, another subplot is peppered in. A perp that Notting was suspended over is partying at a club on the Seattle Police Department's dime. The party is interrupted by a heavily armed team. They announce while opening fire on the club that they are the Vice Squad because cops don't get it done what needs to be done. And then we go to the deep woods just outside of the city where the Arrow team reviews who could the Arrow Killer be. Is it Shadow? Is it Emiko? Shadow? Okay, Shadow or Emiko or Tommy Merlin or his train wreck of a former partner. Too many guesses surround the issue, and this is too serious of a situation to base on a hunch. Oliver decides he needs a cold, hard evidence, so they make a plan to retrieve an arrow from Seattle Police Department evidence lockup.
Steal some evidence, because that's how you clear your
Yeah.
name. You
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
into
Makes-
the,
yeah,
steal
sure.
some evidence.
Add a felony.
Yeah.
Right.
And they also try to find out who the next target will be for the Arrow Killer. Through some techie awesomeness, they find out that the next target is going to be Cy Sampson, the quarterback for the Seattle Hawks. And isn't it the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
While Canary goes all B&E on the Seattle Police Department, Arrow scopes out the big Hawks game to keep an eye out on the quarterback, basically just to observe and make sure nothing goes down. While watching from the roof of the stadium, an arrow is shot at Green Arrow, knocking him off of the roof, causing him to fall into the crowd. At the same time, Arrow Killer shoots another one, and it goes straight through the quarterback's chest, making it look like Green Arrow did it.
I love that final page, too.
Yeah, it was a
very
great
awesome.
setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, very
So-
good art.
Very. I said that it was a great story. I liked it. Just being completely honest with you, I haven't read all the arcs for it, so I was a little confused by some of the backstory on that second Sergeant Notting thing.
Right.
But you don't really even have to know all of that
Yeah.
to get the picture. I say great art, fun story. I give it a holy. I might say low holy, just because I don't have a big background on Green Arrow. But I'm also not the kind of person that would go out and just buy a Green Arrow book to buy it. But I liked this one, so I would.
Yeah.
So a little background for the listeners. Up until like about 3 weeks ago, I want to say, we covered whatever books each of us wanted to cover. And sort of to remedy some of maybe like the fanfare of like maybe Travis gives Superman a really good score just because he loves Superman so much, or vice versa. Like, me with Green Lanterns, I tend to give those a really high score. We decided we write all the comics down on a slip of paper, we throw them in a hat, and we randomly pick them out. And we did that just so we can get new perspectives on the book. So, like,
and it was a good idea.
This is a prime example of, like, Travis, you don't normally read Green Arrow. Now that you have read a book that's pretty good, do you think this is something you'll continue to read?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
I've got to find out who the Arrow Killer is.
Yeah. Do you like the TV show Arrow?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, big fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
I know you two do. So, Brad, you've been a big fan of this story arc just from issue number 1.
Yeah.
What did you think of this issue?
Holy. I mean, I like how all the pieces are coming together. I really feel that Benjamin Percy is the exact right person to be doing this book. I like how Green Arrow and Canary, they're not really doing anything with anybody else besides their own little group. And Green Arrow's just awesome. I mean,
very cool character.
yeah, and I feel like they're really bringing more life into the character.
He kind of is like Aquaman in a sense, like the
No.
No, in the sense. You gotta let me finish here.
I can't. Okay,
Does he talk to arrows?
No, he's like Aquaman in the sense that he's a pretty awesome character in his own respect, but he doesn't get the respect that he's due. And like Aquaman, I think he's cooler than Aquaman for sure. But I'm just saying he's kind of a character that gets written off sometimes when he's stood up against like Batman or Superman.
No, I agree with you on that one. I was actually thinking about this for a topic, maybe for a Sunday school, the relevance of Green Arrow.
that's a good topic.
It's just
Yeah.
if you try to like look at the CW show, how could you, as a normal person, because that's what they're trying to do, make it look like real life, how could you run around with an arrow and a bow all the time?
Yeah.
How can you be a hero that way? Like with at least Batman, he's got his gadgets and whatnot that he can store in his belt, and then he's got his fighting abilities.
Green Arrow's not any different. He has trick arrows and stuff.
Yeah, but still.
But he kind of just rides the police radio to jump into action,
Well, and honestly, he does shoot an arrow now, but I mean, his bow, the bow is more of a weapon than an arrow anymore on the show, in my opinion.
I agree.
So, but you're right. I feel that's kind of stupid too. But there again, it's comics.
I don't want to say stupid. It's just I kind of
it's
a
comical
stretch, but
right.
It's silly.
It's Robin Hood.
But
exactly what the character is based on, Robin Hood.
But I like it.
Is it any more ridiculous than someone dressing up as a giant bat? And in retrospect, if you take a step back, both things are a little silly and ridiculous. Granted, one thing looks a little cooler than the other. Batman has always been like a little bit of the more like debonair, cool. Like there's a certain, attraction to that, or allure that has obviously. And Green Arrow doesn't have that cool history, or he wasn't the first superhero or anything.
Right.
But at the same time, he's still pretty awesome in his own regard.
Billionaire, philanthropist.
He's the poor man's Batman. Really. Yeah. So, and not really even poor. He's just,
I would like to see just all.
Technically, he is poor.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, right now he is.
Yeah. But him and Bruce Wayne. They would be friends.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they have more in common than everybody. Than Bruce has with anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yeah. Couple things I did want to bring up.
Good point.
First off, I'm sorry, Josh. Did you read this book?
I didn't get to this one this week, but
no. Okay.
I enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah. Have you read any of the
awesome.
Green Arrow stuff?
I've read, I think, just a couple of them, but this is one that I hadn't really gotten into this one yet. I just listened to it when we talk about it on the cast and stuff. But
that's cool. Couple things I wanted to bring up from this issue, just that I noticed. I was kind of flipping through it while you were reviewing it. First off, this police officer that's like the vigilante totally has like a Winter Soldier vibe going on. Just the long black hair, the guns. Like he just totally reminds me of Bucky Barnes. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. He looks like that character, and he's kind of angry and pissy and stuff. The panel where the sergeant is drinking out of a cup that says insert donut here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That just seems noteworthy to me. Like that's just hilarious. Yeah, you got to wonder if Benjamin Percy wrote that or if the artist drew that and just like threw it in there as like I have some control over this book. Like I'm just, I'm going to put some little puns in there or whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never thought that artist would maybe do that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like sneak in stuff when they're just drawing the book afterwards.
Well, you could tell that Otto Schmidt and Benjamin Percy, they have a lot of talking on Twitter.
Do they really?
Yeah, I follow Benjamin Percy, and they got to be like pretty decent friends.
Oh, I would imagine so. I didn't know they talk back and forth like that.
Yeah.
But they're working. They're like you and me, Brad. I mean, we talk on break at work all the time. So,
are they like you and me, Josh?
No, they're not like you.
Probably not. Nope.
No one's like me and Brad. No one has the bond that me and Brad have. That's right. I had to make it weird. Sorry. Okay, so the pudgy hacker guy. Yeah, sorry. The pudgy hacker guy. This guy cracks me up.
Yeah.
With like the
insect talk.
Well, and the stuff all over his he has like stuff all over his clothes and stuff. I don't know. He's kind of a comical character. And then there was one more thing: the politician eating a fly. Did anyone else notice?
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
So he's not human.
No idea. I don't know if they're just trying to say he's a really disgusting individual.
Did he purposely eat it?
Yeah. There was a fly on his face saying, got it off.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's like the classic cliche, like he's really a monster type. That he's not a real person.
Yeah.
You see
you
that.
have to have a fast tongue to do that, though, too.
Yeah.
He's a meta that gets his powers from eating
he's
bugs.
Toad.
Yeah, I mean, like you see that in horror movies all the time, where like someone will smack a bug and then eat it or something.
Yeah.
I forget what I've seen that in, but like we've all seen it before. So
Applebee's.
Young Frankenstein.
Speaking from my own personal experience, I did love the cover of this issue too, where he's holding the helmet behind his back and there's an arrow with blood through it and he's handcuffed. Like that's just such a cool, like that cover represents what this whole issue is about. So sorry to go on a tangent about this, but I really enjoyed this book. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, cool. I'm going to move things on here to Cyborg.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear this one.
Yeah, Cyborg number 7. Story by John Semper Jr., art by Paul Pelletier. Let's get it on. Yeah,
Let's get it on.
Yeah. Oh man, Travis, that was,
Hey, honey, can you get the WD-40?
oh God.
Grease me up.
Grease me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
I got a recap for Cyborg number 7.
Gonna work on my boom tube.
Yeah, boom. All right, so
Gonna
Cyborg.
work on her boom tube.
Ooh. Oh man, Cyborg
Sorry.
just got taken from behind by his new. I'm just saying, that's what happened. That's what happened in the last book.
Right.
It is true.
Take him behind. Gonna check his oil.
Yeah. Here we go. I needed to pick me up. That's just what I needed. All right. So cyber sex jokes. That's where it's at. So he's about to get shot in the face by his new girly girl, codename Variant.
Josh, I can't.
I'm glad that Josh's microphone thing is blocking out his face right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd probably be rolling on the ground right now.
That's the reason I bought these.
If I was
pop
taking a drink of my tea, I would have choked.
Yeah. All right. So, his new girly girl, codename Variant, after being captured on a mission. Maybe she got tired of no one buying her because she cost an extra $1. Anyway, yeah, variant,
I like
variant
it.
cover.
Yeah, I got
All right. So anyway,
Clever.
Variant's boss orders her to kill poor old Cyborg, but she decides it's a better idea to steal his power and then become the all-knowing, all-powerful Lady Cyborg instead. But before doing this, she gives Cyborg the service of unveiling her entire evil plan to him about how she's been undercover this whole time and is now going to rule the world. Which seems like they wouldn't actually do that in real life, but in a comic book, I guess they need to refresh stuff for the readers and, whatever. So anyway, Variant pulls a Darth Vader and is all, with our combined cybernetic abilities, we could rule the galaxy. That part comes later. So then, man, I really should have gotten with you on this review.
I know,
there's a
right?
lot of that in this one. But Cybes, can I call him Cybes?
Sure.
Cybes.
Go for it.
Sea Dog, yeah, whatever.
Sea Dog.
Cyborg isn't having it. And he's all like, "Girl, you crazy." So Variant is, like, "Okay, too bad," and steals all of his power for herself. So now Variant's
boom, boom, boom.
So now Variant's boss orders her to open a bunch of boom tubes and send their soldiers to capture all the most powerful men in the world. But surprise, Cyborg planted a secret virus in her while she was taking his power. Insert STD cyber sex joke.
Can we think of the name of this cyber?
Yeah.
Well,
We're continuing this.
cyber herpes.
Yeah. Oh, man. Cyberpies.
Cyberpies.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
Cyberia.
Cyberia. Yeah, I like that one.
Oh,
Cyberia.
God.
Cyberia.
So then he boom tubes all the soldiers into the middle of the ocean.
The clap.
Oh, God. So then Cyborg boom tubes all the soldiers into the middle of the ocean where Aquaman can deal with them.
Nice.
Then Cyborg escapes and depowers Variant. And she's all like, but I was just learning how to love, and dies. So the fight isn't over
Got a weird
yet.
way of showing your love, lady.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
right?
It's an extra buck that kills you.
Fight isn't over yet. Variant's boss traps both of them with what looks like a giant glowing blue fishnet. Blast. Cyborg's only weakness.
How did you know?
Blue lights.
Giant blue fishnets that glow. It's like his kryptonite. Anyway, Cyborg and Variant decide that they can pool forces and escape from the all-powerful blue fishnet. Track down Variant's evil boss and capture him, and then head on back to Star Labs for the awards ceremony. But Cyborg's dad treats Variant the same way that Leia treated Chewie at the end of A New Hope and totally dismisses her heroism. Maybe it was all that secret espionage she was doing before that. Anyway.
It's the furry carpet, man. Come on.
Yeah, so this whole time, Cyborg's real dad has been watching all this unfold while the fake dad is chilling in the lab, just totally overjoyed by the fact that he has a girl cyborg to open boom tubes and create evil plans and conquer the world and stuff.
The clap.
Yep. So what? Wait.
Clap
what?
tube.
So he gets so happy that he starts to break out of his human skin and go all cybernetic. And just then, who walks in? Cyborg walks in. And he's like,
Nice.
"You're not my father. It's impossible." No. See, I told you that part came later.
Hey.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars references
you.
in this one. So anyway, fake Cyborg's father installed a program into Cyborg that allows him to shut Cyborg down just in case something like this happened.
Of course.
So what does he do? He
Shuts him down.
Shuts him down. He shuts him down.
Control Alt Delete twice.
Yep, and it's to be
Hard
continued
restart.
in the next issue called Kill Switch. So yeah,
Engage.
Wasn't Kill Switch like earlier?
no, that's
That's Kilgore.
Kilgore.
Oh yeah,
he was a
that's
villain
cool.
in the first episode.
Gotcha.
First issue.
Issue. Yeah.
I do it too.
They are episodes, you know.
You know.
So who all read this one?
I did.
I
have
couldn't
it.
get this one either.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't get it on the Dropbox?
No.
Yeah, let me know next time. So, Travis, what did you think of this issue?
It wasn't too bad. I liked it. It was nothing but a constant STD joke throughout the whole thing. I don't know why. I liked the art. It was great. I liked what happened with the dad.
Did the
at
art
end.
deliver in this issue?
Oh, in a big way, I
Yeah.
thought.
Nice,
yeah, I
nice.
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Did they keep it PG or
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
okay with all this?
No more of that.
With all this talk
everything's
that's been
going
going on, I was wondering if this was like an NC-17 issue or something.
No.
know how-
There's just immaturity behind it.
You're welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome.
You're welcome.
This is all.
Provides for good content in the show.
This is all just our highly refined sense of
Yeah.
appreciating these comics as if
Right.
they're
Fine
like
art. Yes.
it's a glass of fine wine that you just let breathe and then make the sex jokes with.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that's how it goes.
I'm gonna
So,
say I'm glad that Cyborg finally figured out that it's not his real dad.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm
God.
wondering if his
How long?
reaction was more so just him being like, "So that's why he's been so nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh man. Yeah.
He's not my real dad."
Yeah. So
I knew you weren't my dad because you act like a dick.
You're not Vic. You're a dick.
Sorry.
So it's getting better though, man. Like there was
Yeah.
a point where I
there's a
was
couple.
really frustrated with
Oh
this
yeah,
book.
I'm with you, man.
That issue where they like halfway through they switched
Changed.
artists,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, what the hell? Like it didn't even the story. It was supposed to be one story. Why'd you switch art? You got to wonder if like maybe the artist got sick or had something come up. You know, I mean, we all have missed work before, so
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I wouldn't say I was missing it.
But
I don't know if
how?
it's continued, but the first 3 issues of this run, it's all been different artists. So it's like almost like every issue they've picked someone different to do the art for it.
The last 2 issues,
Were they the same guy for the last 2?
I don't. It's unconfirmed, but they look very similar. The artistic styles have stayed the same. Maybe they realize
maybe they found the right fit for it. Or
yeah,
something.
I feel like they did. Like the artwork is really, really good. It's much better than I expected from any of the past issues. I mean, the coloring is really good. The panel layout's decent. Characterization, the artwork's good. So what do I got on this? So it's gotten way better than prior weeks. Definitely a wordy book.
Oh yeah,
they've all been kind of
Text
wordy
heavy,
with this one.
Yeah, but I feel like a story about cybernetic espionage, it has to be wordy to get its point across. Like there's only so much of that you can tell in a visual story. Yeah, so the narrative kind of gets clouded in that sometimes, but overall I give it a blessing. I think just a solid blessing. So
yep, I'd agree with that.
yeah, cool, awesome. So we will move things right along here. We got B-Rad up next. What do you got for us, Brad?
Justice League.
Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
It is so. Justice League Outbreak.
Never mind.
The
Cutting this one out. Nope, we're done. Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a great week.
This is actually going to be a really quick review because it was good, but not a lot really happened.
Yeah,
So,
it was kind of an action-packed. Yeah.
it was written by Brian Hitch, which I misspelled, and I spelled it as Bryab. I don't know. Bryab. Art by Neil Edwards.
That's his biblical name.
You make a
Bryab the Hitch.
Hey, how does Moses make his coffee?
How?
He brews it. Sorry, go ahead.
Whole new
That's
level.
good. So, we start this book with Jessica doing the good deeds around Sector 2814, just putting out some fires. And then quickly cut to Palmer neighborhood, which looks like a war zone now, with the Justice League hands more full with Amazo. They're fighting for the genie-infused iPad. Jessica sort of shows up and saves the day. They implant Amazo with the genie, and it tells him that the bad guys were actually the Justice League, so he's going after them now. And that's the book.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, front to back.
Maybe they should have got the Happa instead of the genie. It's the Happa,
right?
No, sorry.
So the good. This is well drawn. I like the lack of a lot of dialogue. This book was exactly what it should be. The Justice League in action. I also liked how the genie hacked Amazo to think the bad guys were the Justice League. I love how it ended with Batman telling the League that Wayne Industries was going to provide help to the neighborhood.
Classic.
And he is going to make sure that Palmer gets a good job and that Lily gets the best education that he can give her.
But they don't say anything about the boy.
I know.
Yeah, that poor boy.
The poor kid.
Yep.
It's his fault.
Right. I wanted to
He
play.
gets nothing. Good day, sir.
You are the bastard stepchild. Nothing was really bad about it. I mean, I couldn't find anything I really disliked. I liked it. It's a blessing for me. I'm glad they kind of found their footing. Granted, it was at the end of their story.
Yeah.
But hopefully moving on, it's going to be more at this level.
Yeah. No.
And Ben is itching to say something. So
I'm gonna let Josh. Josh, you go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say this visualization of Amazo has been different than anything I'd seen. He looked way more like humanoid-ish. Like everything else I've seen him in, he very much looks like a robot. But
Yeah.
he looks more like he can transform and morph into whatever type of deal when he absorbs the power. So that kind of threw me off. I didn't even know who he was at first until I got through. I was like, oh, that's Amazo. I was like, who's this huge dude they're fighting?
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. That was the one thought I had on it.
When I was introduced to Amazo the first time, it was actually in the cartoon series Justice League, and he is a robot there. And when the robot can see the superhero, then he takes on their power and everything.
Yep. Oh.
So if
Taskmaster.
you roll back to what I was talking about earlier, the Amazo virus,
Yep.
that's when they show he's a human that was infected by that, and then he absorbs all these powers and he becomes that looking person. So
Interesting.
they pulled Pre-52 into this storyline. So it's good
initially
stuff.
he was a human.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a human that worked at LexCorp.
Interesting.
Evidently, he was on the same floor as the mesovirus or something. And
Cool.
Yeah, and that's why I was getting confused earlier when I'm like, well, because that's kind of what happened here is they put the genie in a meso and made him like go after the D-list villains, whatever, and instead of the Justice League.
And that's another thing. Is that genie? Is that something that this girl created? Then
Yes.
Or is she just able to hack with it?
That happened in the last issue.
Yeah, so she created this to sell it to get money for the family because their mom died in the Kindred.
Supposed
she's
to be
like a little girl, right?
Type thing, but her dad's a
hacker. Her dad is a hacker.
Well, not a
used
hacker.
To be.
He's a programmer.
But he used to be a hacker.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
But yeah.
I really like there's a 2 or 3 panel thing that happened with Batman, and he's talking to he's talking to the dad. Yeah. And the dad's gonna beat the crap out of Scarecrow, and he's got the baseball bat, and he takes the baseball bat away. He's beaten, and then something happens. Like Scarecrow says something, and it's just a little thing where he swings the bat down and knocks out the Scarecrow. I was like, I like that. It's just kind of cool. He's like, that's enough. You can't beat on him anymore. Hold on. Bonk.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Did you rate it?
Yeah, I rated it. It was a blessing.
Blessing.
I am going to come in with an opposing viewpoint on this, and it's okay.
Please do.
I feel differently about this than you guys do, and that's okay.
I'm offended.
I am going to say
I rate it purgatory. Sorry.
You rate it purgatory?
Yeah, high purgatory.
That's okay. It's nonsense. I'm sorry. I'm calling it what it is. All of these villains showed up, like in the last issue, man. Like, why didn't we get these villains introduced to us like 4 or 5 issues ago, and get like a little bit of exposition on who they are?
Because
I mean, I know why, right?
Okay.
Like I understand logically, like the virus showed up, they all showed up. I'm just saying, like, introducing like 12 people and then concluding it in the next story is kind of like, I don't know, man. It just feels like a mess. It feels rushed.
It's a cop-out.
It feels rushed.
It's a
it feels very rushed. I don't know. Like, all these villains just showed up because of this virus that this girl created, like, which, don't get me started on, like, the making sense with that stuff. And then, it concludes in a big brawl-out thing, which, don't get me wrong, I'm totally happy it ended, but...
It kind of feels like I just thought of this, and I could be completely wrong, but it kind of feels like DC kind of wanted you to date the Justice League before they put you into a real situation with them. Yeah. So we had to fall in love with the crew, and they slow rolled that. They let you marinate in it, and then at the very end, we'll put you in a bad situation, and then you'll test. Kind of like we'll test your love with them over this big situation, and poor execution. Maybe that's what I want to say.
The whole Justice League run could have been done a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
I do feel that this. Okay, so I'm giving it a purgatory. It's not a blasphemy. I don't feel that it deserves a blasphemy. The art saves it from a blasphemy. It's a cool looking issue. I'll give it that. And I do feel that it improved from the Kindred stuff for sure. I mean, like it's gotten better from there. Still not a good book though, man. And the fact that it's a really tough spot to be in because it's the Justice League. Sales are never going to go down. They just signed Brian Hitch on to continue writing for this book, which means that we have at least 5 or 6 more months of this. And it's like, I just want better for the Justice League. And and the part that stings the most about this is that we're getting that in Justice League Suicide Squad.
Right. Yeah.
A book that's going to end in like 6 issues, and then we're going to be back to this, the permanent book. And it's like, man, I wish they would just switch it up a little bit and give us like the permanent stuff with this, give me small doses of the bad stuff.
Right.
You could take a lot of poison, but in the small concentration.
Boil the frog slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, Justice League needs to be nothing more than miniseries.
Yeah.
I mean, they need every one of them needs to be built, and you could have a Justice League thing, but have it like this is the Batman and Flash part of it, and then Superman and Lantern part of it, or whatever, until they can build themselves to the Justice League miniseries.
I have seen Justice League done really well in an ongoing, like New 52, Apocalypse. Though actually, damn near close to the entire New 52 run of Justice League, I really enjoyed. I mean, there were parts of it that I didn't like a lot. Like Trinity War, I felt like maybe got a little bit muddled in just confusing stuff, but Apocalypse War really saved it. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like... What have you read all of New 52 Justice League?
Yeah, I'd have to say the JLA one that I kind of liked it, but I really didn't, was where Superman fights Rao.
Superman fights Rao.
Yeah, that's the whole run. Was Rao came to Earth, and Rao's the god of Krypton, and it was very confusing, very Grant Morrison-y kind of story.
Which he wrote the JLA for a while, right?
I assume. I don't know.
I'm
not going to speak to that one, but pretty sure it was very. He took Green Lantern and threw him into the far past, where Rao was on Earth in the far, far past, and it was catching up with Earth in the far future, and then their Superman. It was very confusing. But
I'm confused already.
Yeah. Other than that, I liked all the other Justice League stuff that was going on in 52. So I have no complaints about it whatsoever.
About New 52 Justice League?
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that run. I don't know. It was a lot of
that's
fun.
what was setting me up for like a great expectation with Rebirth Justice League #1. I was like, even in my basement, I've got Justice League #1 Rebirth framed behind glass, and I'm like, does that really deserve that? That sounds bad, but
yeah, because like Justice League New 52 was the entire basis for Rebirth. I mean, that's what this whole thing was based on. So it's like, it's almost like a continuation of that. You expect to be like really big, and I don't know, to give it to Brian Hitch, it's like that. That's a big title to fill, and he is. If you didn't, I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or not, but he's actually traditionally a comic book artist, and he hasn't written very much. I think this may be one of his first big writing things.
Cool. That's a big power to take on. Yeah,
to give like a new writer like a story like that. I don't know. So anyway, just my thoughts on it, but you know. Yeah. It's good to have varying perspectives, because there have been times when like you guys have changed my mind on things. I hope there have been times where I've maybe swayed you in a different direction.
Never.
Ben's like, that's not a purgatory. No.
No one likes you guys.
Ben, is that sign language? I don't recognize it. There we go.
Okay. All right. So we are going to move things on to our final review of the night. And the night's final review is for
Nightwing #11.
Awesome.
See, I said night 3 times.
Bring on the dick. What? Oh, I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Grayson. Yeah.
That's where I was going. Where were you guys going?
You went there way before I was going to go there. So
I gotta spread out those Cyborg and Nightwing reviews to different parts of the show.
Yeah. Beginning and end. Yeah. Nightwing #11
starts with Dick and ends with Dick.
Man, that's a long.
Shouldn't we start with Dick and ends with STD? Or
that's going to be a long night, right, Brad? I saw where you go with that.
So. All right, I am done. Put a fork in me. I'm done. Sorry, Travis. Never mind. Don't even. Just start the review.
The team is Seeley, 2, and Sotomayor. Our story begins with a history lesson at the end of one of the many Batman and Robin adventures. This particular event reveals a villain named the Pigeon and her sidekick, the Defacer, who we are introduced to in issue number 10. May I stop here and say, read the issue, look at the comic. The whole thing with the Pigeon is she steals statues and then the Defacer like spray paints them. I'm thinking there's a villain that flies around like a pigeon and craps on statues. That's all I could think of. And I'm like, this is a bad villain. But I like
that. Sounds like a Golden Age villain, right?
Yeah. It's like,
holy pigeon woman, Batman.
So,
yes, Robin.
So we see these two villains being carted away by something, but something doesn't set right with Grayson. He feels that this defacer was just mentored by the wrong person. So we kind of get that, well, if she's kind of like I am, I'm Robin right now, and I'm a young kid, and I'm being mentored by this great person, Batman, and look at all the good I'm doing. She's being mentored by this bad person in the Pigeon, and she's crapping on statues. So she could have been better. No,
she looks like a bad, what's his name from Pokemon?
Pikachu.
No,
Bulbasaur.
Pidgey.
No, Defacer.
Yeah, Pidgey.
The Defacer, the main, what's the boy's name?
Ash Ketchum?
Ash Ketchum. He got the hat. Maybe
I got you saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at the other person, but I see what you're saying.
I got you.
Yeah.
So fast forward to the present where Nightwing is once again face to face with the Defacer, aka Mrs. Sang, Grayson's boss. We find out that the night support group from former Gotham villains is held in the Bloodhaven Community Center. They call themselves the Runoffs. Nightwing decides that these people
look after diarrhea.
God.
Nightwing decides that these people are doing the same thing he is trying to do, which is discover who he is and write a new chapter in their lives. Nightwing finds out that Gorilla Grimm was part of the group and decides to look into his situation. After some detective work, Grayson decides that maybe he should also have someone he can talk to, so he heads back to the group session where he waits in the shadows until the Runoffs leave. Nightwing approaches the Defacer and lays out his situation, which draws the two closer together. But when things seem right with the situation, Nightwing gets cop blocked. That's right. The cops show up and interrupt the love-in. The police show up and confront Defacer. They say that she is a suspect in a murder, and they slap the cuffs on her and haul her away. Nightwing tries to intervene when the police tell him that he needs to hit the bricks. There's a little side story I really didn't cover on this, but there's an ad group that's trying to support Bloodhaven, and they've publicized Nightwing as the defender, and the cops don't like that. Maybe that's a deeper story or something. But
No.
local news crews somehow are on scene and broadcasting when the story shifts to a mysterious crew watching the news feed. They call themselves the Whale's Enders, and they have a crew member called the Orca, who is a giant whale man, who is going to protect Bloodhaven from the superheroes that are migrating to town.
So silly.
So weird. It was...
It's great. I love it.
Yeah,
but
right?
it's silly. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's actually a male or a female, this orca.
I guess
it
I
kinda
really
seemed-
don't know how to tell the difference on whales.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You turn them upside down. And
Right.
Yeah, God.
I said it's nice art. It was a neat story. I'm going to give it a blessing. It's nothing wow about the comic. It's just a solid comic book. Next issue is going to be a whale of a good time, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Now-
You guys seen Blackfish? No.
Now, okay, Moby Dick isn't the ship in Moby Dick named the Ender, or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I could be wrong
The
there.
only thing I know is you can call me Ishmael. That's about it.
But
That's it. I'm good.
yeah,
I said blessing.
Okay.
I love this. I love this issue.
Did you?
Yeah, I really did too. I really like the miscreant band of villains that are like I don't know. He like goes off on Nightwing and then he's like, "Stop it! No, I told myself I wouldn't do this anymore."
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like it's so great. I don't know.
It's
really cute.
Yeah, it's like a real, what is it, AA group kind of thing.
Yeah,
It was very
totally.
good. I liked it.
Nice.
The artwork kind of has like a classic feel to it. I don't know why. I just not a lot of weird panel layout. You know,
No,
it's
yeah.
very square panel layout,
Yeah.
very kind of flat colors and stuff. It's not a lot of detailed shading and stuff like that. It feels sort of like silver, or not Silver Age, but like 90s, like 90s, early 2000s type art. I wonder if Orca and King Shark are maybe brother and sister, or brother and brother, or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Cousins.
Well, wouldn't Shark
Yeah.
be not friends with the whale though? I don't.
The
I don't
whale's
know.
a mammal.
Yeah,
Shark's
maybe
a
they're
fish.
maybe they're mortal enemies or something. I don't know.
I rated this. I would say this was like a salvation to me. I just really loved this book.
You love Grayson too.
Not on that, but like this one had such like the
Yes, Brad loves Grayson. What were you saying?
I just had the undertones of like the villains wanting to do better. They're wanting to change. You have Dick Grayson who wants to change. I don't know, like trying to find out who he is. It's so I don't know. I love this book.
I think like I gave it a holy. I think we're kind of all over the board on this one. I gave it. I think it's a great book. The only thing that kind of detracted from it a little bit was like the narrative kind of got a little tiresome at times, where it's like you're reading all these little blue boxes where he's thinking to himself.
And again, it was very text heavy.
Yeah. And I've never been a fan of like listening to someone's inner thoughts throughout the entire book front to back. Like, I don't know, man. That just to me seems like a lazy storytelling device where it's like, do I really need like, have you ever watched a movie where front to back, the whole movie, someone's talking to themselves in their head, like whole time, front to back? Never happens because it's lazy and it didn't make sense and it's boring. Like, there's, there are times in stories where you hear someone think to themselves for a moment or they narrate it for a second, but literally front to back for every single scene, seeing what he's thinking is kind of like, that gets tiresome. Now, at the same time, that also provides a little insight into Grayson as a person. So it is kind of nice to have that. I'm just saying it would be nice if they like spaced it out a little more, where maybe not as much of his inner monologue,
So do you get the feeling that the whole little group thing is going to turn around and do some good?
Yeah, I do, especially from the cover art, which, by the way, cover on this, beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
Very colorful and just everything that a Grayson thing should represent to me. So
when I was reading books this week, I was like, okay, so I did Green Arrow. I'm like, oh, this is the best of the week, and then I hit Nightwing. I'm like, this is the best of the week. And then when I hit Justice League Suicide Squad, I'm like, no, this is the best of the week.
Yeah, there were a few.
I didn't do it.
There were a few very, very good books this week. I don't know. Overall, I want to say it was just a very good week for us. So fun
good job,
week.
DC.
Yeah, good
everybody.
Job. Well, DC, great job.
From the artists to the writers, clear down to the guy who sweeps the floors. Way to go.
Yeah, publicists, everything, man. Yeah, and this Christmas, I'm gonna carry something over from DCR that they used to do, just because I think it's cool. Send like a thank you to someone at DC. Just send them a note, to tweet them or send them a message on Facebook, and send it to someone who maybe doesn't always get a lot of love. Send something to an editor on a book you like, or send something to a letterer or a colorist, and say, hey, Merry Christmas. I love the work you're doing. It's really awesome. Just put that out there into the universe because they do really good work over there, and they're the underdogs of this business where like they don't probably get recognized as much as the Jeff Johns do or something like that. So just send a little Christmas love to someone over at DC. You don't need to like NCR said this, just nothing like that. Just put a little love out there into the universe because like there's plenty of hate out there. So you definitely put some love out there. So overall, though, we don't really have much else for you. Next week is a heavy week. We all are going to have 3 books to review each. All 4 of us.
Dang, big show.
So next week on NCR, we do have Action Comics 970, All-Star Batman number 5, Batgirl number 6, Batman Beyond number 3, Blue Beetle number 4, Detective Comics number 947, Flash number 13, Hal Jordan and the GLC number 11, Justice League versus Suicide Squad number 2,
wow,
Teen Titans number 3, Titans number 6, and Wonder Woman number 13.
Holy cow.
Nice.
Holy cow.
Big week. So,
should we draw for these?
Exciting week. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is each one of us will pick one book for ourselves, and then we'll draw the other 2. I think that'll be a good way to take it. So that way we're all at least reading one thing that we chose for ourselves on such a heavy week. Yeah. So overall, do you guys have anything else for the listeners tonight?
No, I'm good. Have a great holiday, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. And thank you so much for listening to us. If you do want to keep
awesome.
If you do want to keep listening to us, we are going to carry things over to the Sunday School. That's available at patreon.com/nerdchurchradio. We're going to be talking a little bit about everyone's favorite hated character, Amanda Waller.
Josh is like, I want to rip her in parts.
So excited.
I want to bring down the wall.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I will say peace be with you.
And also with you.
Peace out, planet Earth.
Bye.
Very creative, Travis. Have a great week, everyone.